All right, let's get started back again. Thanks everybody for, anytime you open the door, anytime you change rooms, you always lose people. It always happens. We were going to some people had to head out, and but it's great. We got some we do, and Justin's here too, right? So we picked up some, and maybe it's, maybe the balance is going to be back. Yeah, that's great.
I take the place of two people.
Yeah. Well, is it an extrovert? I think you can, right? That right there, yeah. Okay, so let's just talk. What'd you see when you went out? Let's just start over here. We'll work our way around. Yeah.
A lot of homes need their lawns mowed.
A lot of homes need their lawns mowed. Yeah, it's a good point to see.
It stopped raining.
Yeah. It stopped raining up. Yeah.
They saw some things that we couldn't identify.
You couldn't identify or could?
No, they were great big lead ones. At first we thought we were running all the time.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Good
Okay.
gardens, though.
Good gardens, yeah.
The iris is iris.
Wondered why so many people had all their shades pulled in their homes.
Oh, why all the people have their shades pulled in their homes, yeah?
I saw some eggs, and I wondered which came first.
Yeah. I was wondering how long I'd have to do my first. There we go. It took a lot longer than I thought, so yeah, there we go. Did you buy some when you were out?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great. Yeah. We're going over and now we're crossing over. What'd you see? Yeah.
I noticed there was great pride in the display, welcoming spirit of businesses, and to me, a lack of pride in personal homes.
Yeah.
They looked in need of repair, homes being lawn, but the businesses, they opened up to everything.
Yeah, great.
I think it had to do with the neighborhoods, because homes I looked at are beautiful.
Yeah.
What street did you go down?
It's the age of the community. Yeah.
I was noticing all the porches and how nice all the porches are, at the spot where we're relaxing, we are eating and everything.
Yeah. Porches. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the porches look very welcoming and comfortable in there. Yeah, that's good. I saw unity on themes like with Colgate,
Yeah.
University, and the American flags everywhere.
Yeah. Anybody else? Okay.
We got to see one of our alien church members.
Oh, no way. Yeah. Were they out walking?
Yes, they were walking.
Yeah. Hey, how great was that? All right, well, let's start off this way. So, they say that, some of you may have bought a Fitbit, years ago, right, when it first came out, and the thing was you had to get 10,000 steps in a day. And we all know that was totally just a farce, right? 10,000 was just a number. It sounds good. The actual number is what? How many steps do you think you're supposed to get a day?
As many as you want.
As many as you want, I like that. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
4,000.
4,000, a little bit more than that, yeah. How about this? More than 4,000, less than 10.
4,000.
We're doing fight. Yeah, this is not Price is Right rules here. Yeah, that's good, yeah. What did you say, Jess? What did you say?
I think I heard that it's more like 7.
7, exactly. 7,000 steps. So my thought is could you one day a week try to do 7,000 steps in your neighborhood? You just walk in your neighborhood. I mean, you don't have to do it all at once. Do it throughout the day. See what you do. If you do what you're able to, right? So the part is what are you seeing in your neighborhood? You can see things when you're walking that you can't see when you're driving. And you see different things. So here's why we're going to do this. So remember this passage from John, I'm sure, right? We've heard it at a funeral, but I don't use it for lifetime stuff. Right? In my Father's house, there are many dwelling places. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go prepare a place for you? And if I go prepare a place for you, I will come again and I will take you myself, so that where I am, there you may be also. And that's the point of this, right? So there's many doors at churches. There's many doors in homes. And so how do you realize that Jesus is already there? Again, you have everything you need. For those of you who weren't here, right? give you a recap real quick. You have everything you need for evangelism. You've already got it. You've got your bumper sticker theology. So the new people, I give there's a little piece of paper folded up into 4 times, and can you put your theology down in 6 words or less? That's what we could have done, but everybody had it. And then what is maybe just a little micro story of a miracle from your life, or what I call a near-life experience, or a new life experience that you had. That's what I actually write down beforehand. But when we talk about the neighborhood and who you're going to communicate with, there's both your personal story, but there's also a little bit of story about how you present. And this afternoon we're going to look more into a corporate part, how we present in these mini mansions, or I like to say mini doors is what we're looking at. So, I want to talk a little bit today, this afternoon. I did have this thing about we were going to do a verbatim of a favorite gospel story. I don't know if we're going to have time for that, just because it's after lunch, and we all know that even after lunch and after a good walk, a lot of words, you're going to be sitting down, you're going to be, afternoon nap's going to happen, which are great, but still, let's see what we get. I want to talk about church doors as a metaphor for evangelism. So how you do it. So think about the difference between the front door of a church. So look at and if you can't remember what your front door is, we're just going to look at First Baptist Hamilton's front door. Think about that as the public expression of your church. How you communicate to the outside, because that's a door everybody's going to see, whether they're walking or biking or in the car or maybe they're in the bus. That's what they see. So what does the front door express? And think about, let's use Jessica's point. What if the front door of a church was more like a front porch? Now, that doesn't mean you got to go out and put, chairs out there. Although, why not? Or some kind of portico that gives you shade. But think about your front door as a way to welcome people. Now, what are the ways you could welcome someone or things at a front door of a church? Just give some ideas. Anybody come to mind? People. Yeah, what if you had people at the front door? Yeah, that's a good one, yeah. And what would the people do?
Welcome visitors.
Yeah. How many of you ever go to Walmart? Yeah. Walmart pays people to be greeters. Think about it. The hospitality is going to be that essential that when you walk in the door, somebody says hello, and we're thankful that you're here. I mean, I'm not saying, wouldn't it be great if we had the church budgets? We could pay someone to go and do that. But why not have like someone, I would say this, as Baptists, we can do local ordinations that only exist for, we're going to ordain you, but your work can only be done on behalf of this congregation. What if you ordain somebody, hey, maybe even put like a stamp, a time stamp on it that it runs out at the end of June. But your ordination is for this month of June, I want you to be take up the holy ministry of hospitality. And that your job is to greet people and to make them feel welcome when they walk in the door. Now, again, you go into a grocery store and nobody says hello to you. But think of all the hospitality industry. You walk into a restaurant, immediately somebody's there to say hello. And how can I help you? Even at the hospital, someone's there to greet you, to say hello, and how can I help you? Why isn't that part of like a church's ministry? We value evangelism so high that we're going to make sure that when you walk in the door, you at least feel welcome. Okay. What else could you do other than people at the front door? If the church is like a porch, front door is like a porch.
Light on.
The light on, yeah, exactly, right? I mean, people live here. Right? You saw that there were shades pulled down at homes. Well, we don't want the shades pulled down at church. Yeah. What else could you do?
I've seen a church that had the little lending library
Oh, yeah, like a little free library up front, yeah.
up next to the door.
Yeah.
And then, so there's different tracks in it.
Yeah. There are churches that will even put their pastors best sermons, we'll make them into a little pamphlet and put them out there.
We have to do that every Sunday.
Yeah, exactly, right?
No, I mean.
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah.
Wonderful sermons.
Yeah, I mean, because think about it, how easy that would be to walk by, pick up a sermon, have it in your hand, read it, and say, this is what this community is about.
I noticed as we walked through town today that a lot of these places had a sign on the door with the hours that they're open and when they're closed.
Yeah, yeah.
One of them said 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., breakfast during the time. So I noticed that churches, when I drive through the community, they're closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Some are open Saturday, but most of them are open Sunday. So years ago, I went to a business in town, and they made one of those yard signs. So when I'm in the church, pastor is in, open for prayer. I have that out whenever I'm there. And people come in, they're far and few between, but I get all kinds of questions. What's the difference between your church and one downtown or whatever?
Yeah.
But we're open as long as somebody's there. The church door is unlocked, but does the community know that?
Yeah, or even more basic, can you tell what time church service is? Yeah, so by walking by, does it have a time limit? Or how about this? Does it tell you how long it lasts? I mean, why does everybody think it's, the Peter Gomes, if you remember him, he was the Harvard Memorial Church, wonderful guy. He used to say, we all bought into the thing of one faith, one Lord, 1 hour. But, why does it have to be 1 hour? No one ever said why it's an hour. So what if it's 50 minutes? What if it's an hour and a half? Ours goes for an hour and a half.
That's about right.
Yeah, I mean, why not say, hey, it's from 10 to 11:30. Let people know what they're getting into.
This is just silly stuff.
No, yeah.
My grandmother sat in the back too, and her eye, when it was submitted, her eyes on here perfectly with past the sermon. And when you go past an hour, she do one.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I love about this clock, it doesn't work.
It
Right?
doesn't
So, I mean, this is fantastic. So, I mean, it's always 6:45. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah.
That was cute.
Yeah.
And it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
She wrote.
Yeah, yeah. So the time, right? Let me know what they're getting into. What else could you have at the front porch?
I know people I see churches with a prayer box.
Prayer box, yeah. Right, I mean, think about the Western Wall. Right, I mean, people go there and pray. Or did you ever read The Secret Life of Bees? Sumo Kid. Secret Life of Bees. Sumo Kid, a great little novel. There's a woman in the novel who always has a worry ball where she takes her prayers out and puts them in the worry ball. And why not have a public expression of prayer that if you put a prayer request in here, we're gonna take your prayers.
Yeah, we had a food closet.
A food closet, yeah, another one, yeah.
Campus is a very dog-friendly.
Oh, yeah.
So even just putting out, summer's upon us, so some water bowls for all the people going by walking their dogs.
Yeah.
That would be a friendly gesture.
Yeah.
There are a lot of dog walkers in this.
I went to the Colgate Inn, and it was so inviting that I had to walk in the door. Had I not walked in the door on my way out, they had 2 great big dog bowls.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
Yeah, exactly. Now, it doesn't mean, here's a new metric that I use. I ask the church, we keep track of how many people are in church on Sunday. Yeah, we got the data for that, sure. But I would always ask people, how many dogs did you meet this week? If you meet new dogs each week, it means that you're out in the community, that you're engaging with people, and those people will remember your dog way before they remember you. And it's a great way to meet people. Dogs are fantastic. They grease conversations, by asking about somebody's pup. They're much more likely to tell you a little bit about their life. I mean, you all were teenagers once in your life. Did you enjoy talking to your parents face to face about deep, troubling issues that you had as a teenager?
No.
No. But you know what the studies show? If you can walk with somebody side by side, they will tell you almost anything. Because you're not looking at them eye to eye. If you walk with somebody's dog, and they're just sitting around walking with their dog with you, they will tell you anything. So, how many dogs did you meet this week? You know, that people will tell you their life, they'll spill their life story up to you as you walk with your dog. So, how many dogs did you meet this week? That's another one, yeah. So, we got dog bowls, we got little free libraries, we got food closets, we have prayer requests, we have the lights on, we have the shades up, we got a sign that tells you what time. And this is a pretty big front porch we're getting right here. There's a lot of stuff on there. What else could you put on that front porch?
Welcoming sign.
A welcoming sign, right. Now we got somebody out there to welcome, and we also have a sign that says welcome. Yeah.
Music.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what way could you do that?
Just put a speaker out there.
Put a speaker out there, right? I mean, why not? You have the live feed here, you got the speaker. What if you ran another speaker outside that shows what you're playing? Or if you're in England and you're walking around and you see the church, I don't know if you've noticed this. We were on sabbatical. We did a pilgrimage from St. Cuthbert's Way, so we walked from Melrose, Scotland to the Holy Island of Lindisfarne. It was a 100-kilometer walk that we did over 6 days. My family and I did it. But what we noticed that all the churches had a picture of what the church looked like inside. So at least you know what you're getting into. And church, look at this. This is a beautiful sanctuary. You can kind of imagine it from the outside, but maybe not. And if you've got a lot of people that have grown up that have no idea what church is, it's another way of just showing that this is a pretty amazing place. Yeah.
Free Wi-Fi.
Free Wi-Fi. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's right there. During the pandemic, we had a whole bunch of neighborhood kids that just kind of came over and sat on the playground and just used their Wi-Fi. We were finding. I'll tell you this about our church. We have a playground, and I did an experiment one time where I walked around and asked everybody in the neighborhood, "What do you know about the church?" Well, one thing, they had no idea we were there. But they were like, "Hey, is that the place with the playground?" And we found out how much people valued the playground. So we just asked people, "What else do you need in the playground?" And they said, the mom said, "We'd really like to have a place to sit down." So guess what? We had more pews than we know what to do with at our church. So we took a pew, painted it blue with outdoor paint, and put it right underneath the shade for the parents to sit down. So now the parents have a great place to sit down, and we don't have this pew that we have to stare at all the time. That has nobody in it. So I'm not saying to take one of your historic pews and put it out front. Maybe you do. You got enough, right? Yeah.
You leave it all winter?
We leave it all winter, yeah, and every spring we have to repair it and put glue on it and put another coat of paint on it. And I'm sure that eventually it's going to, it won't last much longer. But for the time being, yeah.
Tell us about your playground.
Our playground is just I don't know, it's got a few slicky slides and something for kids to climb on. And I don't know why in Minnesota everybody has logs. Like sometimes they'll chop a tree down, they'll cut open the logs. They let it rest for a little bit, they take the bark off, and then the logs are just everywhere. So I'm sure they get thrown in kind of weird ways. It's just I don't know, there's a sand pit for kids to dig in.
It's one of the things you always hear is liability.
Yeah, we do too, right? So we asked our church insurance holder about it. They're like, just put a sign up that says, this is, it's technically only for the preschool, and during the church service, you just put that up there, and if somebody breaks it, it's on them. So at least we have it there. For me, I don't know that anybody plays in the playground. So I don't see them.
We have a 2-acre lot.
Yeah, 2-acre lot. Yeah.
And I've got a huge circle that we let the grass grow with a cross inside.
Yeah.
It's 20 foot long. So when I went into town, they asked the Artikis, what do you know about this? Oh, is that the place with the cross in the lawn?
Yeah.
That's an attraction, right?
Oh, yeah. Again, it's evangelism. It's using your property to communicate who you are. buildings, most of us do have old buildings, that have a lot of problems, but I think we have to earn the right to keep them. And I think earning the right to keep them is try to do as much as we can with the building to express what goes. Okay, Doctor Who fans, anybody? Yeah, okay. Can you tell me what a TARDIS is? What is a TARDIS? I know it's phone booth, right? But what's the? But what is the meaning of a TARDIS? You know, it's what? It's something that's.
It's a portal.
It's a portal. No, we're not getting that. Okay, I'll give you the answer. Sorry. Yeah. It's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. I think churches are bigger on the inside than they're on the outside. And how do you there's so many barriers that people have to get to a church. If you can just lower that barrier just a little bit to help them get inside, you've done a ton of work for them. Speaking of trying to get people here, or do people know your church? I would have given you all this little experiment, but it was kind of home field advantage, so I didn't want to do it to Bill. I give people $5, and I tell them, go around the neighborhood, and if you can find somebody that knows where the church is and can give you directions to it, give them $5. And how many people come back and give me back their $5? We all think that everybody knows about us. Everybody knows we're First Baptist, or put your church's name in there. Everybody knows where it's at. We just make that assumption. But just go around to a coffee shop and walk in and be like, hey, I'm new in town. Can you tell me how to get to First Baptist? And how many times can it, even the coffee shop around my corner sometimes, if I go in and say, hey, can you tell me where Judson Memorial Baptist is? And they look at me like I got horns come down my head. So don't make any assumptions that people know about you or know where you are. And this is where the hospitality comes in, the front door piece, doing everything you possibly can to make sure that when people come to church, they're doing the best. They're doing it. You've done all they can to make them welcome. Because there used to be a time where people would just come to church because they moved to town. And you remember that old covenant? Maybe you still have it. That one where you reunite with a similar body upon moving to a new town. We used to say that before communion. Well, that doesn't happen anymore. Right? Somebody moves to a new town. Maybe they go to church. More than likely they don't. And people are coming to church not because, well, might as well go to church today. They're coming because something really tragic probably happened in their life. Right? They got a diagnosis. They lost their job. Maybe it's because it's been 6 months and they moved to a new place and they haven't met anybody and they're lonely as all get out and they just want something. And they make the effort, which is Herculean nowadays, to come to your church and be with your people. And you've got to make sure that when they walk through that threshold that they are welcomed. And know it. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's not like tomorrow, like, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to be the best welcoming church we can be. It's going to take time. You got to cultivate that. You got to nurture it. You got to give out gold stars, whatever it takes. Attaboys, attagirls, way to go to create that kind of culture. At 13 years I've been at Judson, we are just now at that kind of place. We had a bunch of people that had drifted away or gone off, moved, and they came back, and again, something happened in their life, and they wanted to reconnect with community, and they said, it's not the same community that I left. So it's all work, it's all inner work, and it takes a long time. That's the front door. Anything else about the front door you want to throw up?
Leave it open.
Leave it open, yeah.
I had a thought when you were mentioning about, getting to know what's inside the church.
Yeah.
Not knowing what to expect, especially if you're a non-church person. Maybe it would be beneficial to put out, if you're putting out, sermons and stuff, why not put out with it, a little blurb about, this is our church covenant, this is what we believe, and here are some quick demographic facts, maybe, or, just information about who we are, this is what you can expect to see. Yeah. So you can know, okay, this is what this church values. It really aligns with me, or it really doesn't, or, maybe I need to try the next one, or maybe this is it,
Yeah. So here's what I'll say yes to that on one comment, right? Yes, you should put out something a little bit about your values and who you are and what you really hold dear. But find somebody that has no church experience, and it doesn't matter if they live in town or they're your second cousin that lives in, Portland, Oregon. But they don't go to church. Run it by them and make sure that there's no insider language. Because we would say refugee ministry. That makes perfect sense to us. But somebody's never gone to church. What does that mean? Like, what are you doing with refugees, right? What does that mean? I mean, all those things. We all have insider language, and we're all trying to work at that insider language. Because how many times you've been somewhere, two people are having a conversation, and you're just the third wheel, and they're talking about things you have no idea what they're talking about. And you're like, well, I don't really hang out here. But at church, we do a lot of insider language in church. But how do you take that inside language and make it more accessible? So I'd say yes. Yeah. Okay, any others for the front door? Leave it open, play some music, some pictures.